Welcome, everyone. I'm La Bourgeois, Kaizen Muse certified creativity coach and thriving creative. Join me as we discuss the horrors of the guilt monster. Bum, bum, bum. Guilt sneaks into our hearts and minds like that creepy clown from It. It expresses itself in doubts and fears that we all have, getting us worked up in ways we never would believe possible. I have felt guilty for not cleaning the house, of course. I've felt guilty about not writing consistently. I've felt guilty for not getting my promotional materials done in time for a networking event. I've even felt guilty for teaching a class using someone else's materials that they created and sold to me so I could teach that class. Yeah, the guilt monster is a sneaky little bastard. He pokes around our heads and our hearts, searching for that thing we feel we are supposed to be doing or should have done and wish we said. Then he marches that out and trumpets it through our brains, intending to make us feel guilty for not doing or doing that thing. When we give in to that terrible feeling, the guilt monster rejoices. However, I have discovered that I can disarm the guilt monster. I can run past the guilt monster, singing bawdy songs at the top of my lungs, and he can't stop me. You see, the guilt monster used to hang around my life and make me feel bad all the time. His greatest triumph was the idea that if I wasn't putting my time and efforts into writing what I thought I should be writing when I should be writing I didn't have the dedication to be a writer. I didn't love writing the way I thought I did. I felt guilty for not writing, and guilty for not waking up at some god-awful time in the morning to write, and guilty for spending all this time loving writing and not being able to put time or effort into the process. Gosh, doesn't that just sound like a bowl full of dumplings? I'm sure you have your own version of this. Just substitute your art form for writing and writer in that sentence and feel the guilt pour over you like a cold cup of cocoa. Here, I'll even write it out for you. I feel guilty for not fill in the blank and guilty for not blank to become a blank and guilty for spending all my time loving blank and not putting any time or effort into the process. Go ahead. Fill in the blanks and say it out loud. Oh, yeah. It's like curling up in a warm blanket and discovering that it was only warm because somebody peed in it and that person was you, and now you're wrapped in a cold, wet, smelly rag. Mmm. It's time to escape from that guilt monster faster than you would untangle yourself from that rag. And here's the secret exit you can use to get out of his lair. Realize you can only create what you want to create, and you have to use your body and your mind and your spirit to produce it to the best of your ability. By identifying and accepting what is true about you, you can always figure out how to create what you want to create. This doesn't mean that you can't get other people to help or use resources that exist outside of your body. But it does mean that the idea to reach out or do research or find other resources and solutions comes from you. Let me give you an example. At one point, I decided that I needed to get up at 4:30 a.m. and write. I'd read many, many blog posts written by many, many people who had done this and achieved all sorts of amazing things. Also, it was the time of day when I could get a large block of writing done because I decided that I had to write for 2 hours each day. So I was in my late 40s, which appeared to be when my genetics switched over and turned me into a morning robin instead of a night owl. I was pretty confident I could make this happen. The first day, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. No alarm necessary. Trotted back to my writing space and wrote for 2 hours. Woohoo! Success! Then I repeated this process for a few days in a row. As the days plodded on, I wore down. I felt nauseous all the time. I developed headaches and was dropping over from exhaustion by noon. I would push my way through the rest of my day job's workday and collapse when I arrived home. Dinner became an afterthought, and by the end of the week, we'd eaten quick meals comprised of mainly frozen foods more nights than not. It just couldn't continue. My health and general well-being were suffering. If I continued, I'd get really sick, and then I'd be in big trouble. That's when the guilt monster showed up, teeth bared. How could I consider myself a writer if I didn't break my body to make my writing dream happen? How could I have wasted all this time on my writing when I wasn't even dedicated enough to being a writer to do that? Oh, the guilt washed over and through me like I was a town below a busted dam. And suddenly I realized the people who told me that I needed to get up at 4:30 didn't know me. They didn't know that my body and mind needed to stay in bed until at least 6 a.m. They didn't know that my entire being would rebel and get ill and put me in a sick bed for days when I attempted this feat. They knew what worked for them, and that was okay. That could work for them. It just didn't work for me. After a ton of time spent in this hellhole of my I'm not good enough guilt, I realized that just because getting up super early didn't work for me, that didn't mean I wasn't a dedicated writer. That just meant that getting up super early didn't work for me. That was it. That time I spent feeling guilty about not getting up or being dedicated enough to get up or feeling like I was fooling myself was just wasted time. And then I felt guilty about wasting that time. But I didn't have to. And I decided that if getting up super early wouldn't work for me, I could try something else because that would be okay for me. That would work for me. So I put my mind to it and I figured out that I could get up just a little earlier than I needed to wake up for work and start writing then. Even if I could only write for 15 minutes a day, I'd still be writing and working on my writing skills and improving them by practicing. And that static in my brain of me thinking I'll never be a good writer because I couldn't make waking up super early and writing work, that static went away. That guilt disappeared. And what remained was the time and the space in my being to get down to the work that I wanted to do. I believe that we need to balance our body, mind, and spirit in order to be contented beings. And I believe that we deserve to be contented beings, and that maintaining a balanced, contented being is enough of a reason to say no to something that hurts you in any way. So, I encourage you to inquire when you let the guilt monster begin to run your mind because of some lacking that you identify because you've gotten sick or slept through your writing time or gone a whole week without working on your art. Just ask yourself why and listen to the answer that comes from your body. Listen to the answer that comes from your soul and use your mind to find a new direction that takes your body's demands and your soul's needs into consideration, and then move forward. That action, that moving forward, that is what defangs the guilt monster. You are a person dedicated to your art. Otherwise, you would have never watched this video. Know that your dedication will always find a way to practice your art. You just have to find your way to practice it. So what do you want to do? And what thing is the guilt monster harping on to make you feel guilty about it? Let's take a moment here in this quiet space. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. And we're going to write down at least 10 options for actions that you can take to do that thing you want to do. Go ahead and hit pause now and start. Got your list? Okay, now circle all of the options that allow you to move forward while respecting the needs of your body and soul. Okay, so now from there, go ahead and circle your 3 favorites. Don't think too much about this. These are the ones that you are the most excited about, the ones that feel the most electric, the ones that make you say, yes. Okay, now out of those 3, select one technique and try it for the next couple of days to see if it works and feels right. If it doesn't, come back to your list and select the next one. You've got this. And in the process, you've begun defanging your own guilt monster like a dentist who loves his work. If you enjoyed our time together, hit the heart to say you like it. Leave a comment or share this post. Subscribe for free or go paid, or leave a tip on Ko-Fi. You can find more information on this series and how to support it in the post below. I'm La Bourgeois, Kaizen Muse creativity coach and thriving creative. Thank you for joining me, and until next week, may you enjoy contentment and creativity.